Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your host, femininity coach, and author of The Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So what we're talking about today is Black women not competing for Black men or for eligible, worthy Black men. They don't want to compete. I got a small clip to share with you. Shout out to the Daily Wrap-Up crew. Let me go ahead and share this clip, and then we're going to come back and cook.
What do you mean by competition? Like, what do you mean? Like,
competing. Showing a man why he should choose you. Yeah, why he should choose you over other women.
I'm not here to audition for you.
Actually, are.
Okay, I get that standpoint, but I'm not. It's not like a job interview.
It's interesting when we talk about competing because women will compete in every form, whether it's her job, whether it's her education, whether it's everything else. But when it comes to the quality of man that she wants for her life, she's unable to compete.
What do you mean? What do you?
Okay, I'm actually going to stop sharing this. And he said some really key things real quick. He said some key things. He said she's willing to compete with her education, with her job, which is her profession. She's willing to compete in these other things, in the external values, but she's not willing to compete for the man, which would be in the family value, which would be in the internal values. When your external values mean more than your internal values, we call that the lost value system. Okay. All right. Where your profession and your education and all this stuff is way above your family and your health and your spiritual and the whole 9 yards. I want to ask Black women, what do y'all think competition means in this context? When we talk about competing for a man, when we talk about competing to get the best possible man, that you can possibly get that for you, right? In your scope, in the pool of men that you have to choose from, that you could potentially choose from, competing for the best possible man in that pool. What do y'all think that means? I'm curious. What do y'all think competition entails? What do you think that's made of? And why don't you think that you're capable of it? Why don't you think you're capable of because I think that's what that comes down to. Y'all don't believe that y'all are capable of competing for men. So therefore you rather put up this facade to say that you're not going to, or you don't have to, or that that's almost beneath you. Something that you don't have to do is to compete with men. It proves that you all don't actually value family or commitment. Your husband, your potential husband and the potential father of your children is actually one of the most, if not the most important choice and decision that you're going to make in your life. It's actually one of the most important decisions you're ever going to make, just because of the present and future ramifications of that decision, right? Because it affects you. First and foremost, it affects you now and in the future. It affects where you're going to be in life. It affects what kind of life you're going to have. It affects your trajectory. It affects your worldview, your perspective of life, right? It affects your husband. His life is affected both now and in the future, all right? This is a whole other person in their life. Then it affects your future children, okay, that you have. Their life, what kind of life are they going to have? What are they looking forward to? You know, what type of living or conditions are your children going to be getting born into? To a lesser extent, it affects the extended family. That's the word I'm looking for. It, to some extent, affects your extended family as well. Other people are affected by when you get together, and if you ever divorce or break apart, these other family members are also affected. So there is a tremendous effect that is being had by the one decision of who you're going to marry, What kind of man? Who's going to be your husband? Who's going to be the father of your children? Right? And y'all don't put no stock on that. Y'all don't put no respect on that name. Y'all don't put no respect on that value at all. Why should I have to compete? I'm not auditioning. Yes, you are. And see, here is the thing. Why would you not first? The decision on who you marry and who you with has so much weight. Why would you not think to put your best foot forward to get the best possible man? Why would you not do it? That's the part that I'm trying to figure out. Why would you not first become the best version of yourself? The best version of yourself. And then subsequently, why would you not give that best version of yourself to the best possible man of the pool of choices of men that you have to present in your life? Why are you not doing this? Why are Black women like one of the only women on the planet that does not think like this, that don't think like this as a whole? Why? One thing is this. Black women are actually too concerned with giving a Black man something good. That's why y'all don't want to compete. That's why y'all don't want to be better. Y'all don't want to be better women, more feminine women, more conscientious women, more self-aware women, women that understand things like self-accountability and responsibility and all of these other things. Y'all don't want to be those types of women, because those are actually good women. Those are just good people, whether they have men or not. They're just good women, right? They're just good women. Y'all don't want to actually be that. The sick part about the pathology is that Black women don't want to see Black men have any good in their life, even if she's the good in his life. Ooh, that's deep. Black women don't want Black men to have anything good in their lives, even if she's the good in his life. You don't even want to be the good in his life, because you don't want to see him be good or have something that makes him happy, or have something that makes him content or brings him peace, or have something that he can utilize to go forward. You don't actually like to do that, because Black women's job isn't to be the best choice so much as it's to be the only choice that Black men have. See, you're so used to being the only choice that Black men have that you can't fathom having to be better than what you've been or better than what you are. This is why the concept of competing for a man is so foreign to American Black women, because Black men have been a captive audience for quite some time in terms of who they have relationships with and who they exercise the choice of having relationships with. Black men, and maybe in recent years, you'll have them dating and marrying out at a little bit higher percentage than they have been, but typically it's been low. At least about 80% of married Black men have been married to Black women, right? So that's more than half. That's the majority of Black men who are married to Black women. I would wager that is still true. Even if they're starting to marry out a little bit more, I would still say that the majority of women that marry Black men are married to are Black women. Yet and still, so Black men have often have been the captive audience for Black women. If you have a captive audience, if the only choice on the board is you, then you don't have to be good, right? Because the only choice on the board is you anyway. They're going to have to come to you anyway. Lead you right back to me. I am inevitable. Black women have long been inevitable, or they thought they've been inevitable to Black women. This is actually why the concept of passport bros bothers so many of y'all so much, because it's not so much the individual men or the individual women that they're going to try to get. It's not so much that. It's just the concept of Black men exercising a choice where you're not the only choice on the board, and that concept is distasteful to Black women. So it's a lot of y'all getting on here, y'all are capping, lying, acting like Black men are really caring whether or not you date out, and Black men historically really have not cared too much about that. At least not enough to make a big stink on social media about it or whatever, even if they do feel some type of way. So they don't like passport bros because that actually represents a Black man's freedom of choice, and more importantly, his willingness to exercise such a freedom of choice, because Black men have long actually had that choice and have opted not to, by and large, in a general sense, have opted not to go full mass, full scale out to get other women across the world or in different countries or what have you. They've been choosing to stay here because out of a sense of duty and responsibility to try to save Black women or save their families or save the community. Now that excuse is actually run out. So Black men are like, I don't know that it can be saved, so might as well. This is where SYSBM actually came from, Save Yourself Black Man, because they reached a point where they didn't think the community could be saved, or any effort that they made would actually be appreciated or expounded upon or anything like that. So it's almost like, don't put your energy over there, put it somewhere else. Put it in yourself. Do that. Don't even worry about the women of the community in general and all of that type of stuff. So this is where SYSBM came from. This is where Passport Bros, or the concept of Passport Bros, is actually coming from. Black women are sitting around, I don't have to audition. You audition for everything else. You audition at jobs. You go to job interview. You audition for that white man. Don't you? And you compete on which number baby mama you gonna be. You do that, but you're not gonna compete for better quality men. You compete for white men when you go to date for them. You gotta compete. Whether you are in a direct competition, whether you know it or not, you're in competition with other women that he has access to. And so he has to make a choice on which woman he's going to date or marry based on what she showed him. You're in competition anyway, and you're failing. So you trying to say that you opting out of the competition doesn't actually opt you out. It just makes you not a choice. That's different. Opting out and then not being a choice, that's different. Y'all don't even understand that. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. You don't compete for Black men because you don't want to see him with any good. So you're not going to present even yourself as the good in his life. It's actually unconscionable, but it also speaks back to the premise of the Moynihan report that I did all last week. Anyways, jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.
Hello, my Crimsonites and all of my supporters. I invite you to go and get your copy of my new book, Reclaiming the Black Feminine, The Lies of Feminism and the Road to Recovery, on sale now at crimsoncure.com. This is guaranteed to change your perspective and positively impact your life. So go ahead now to crimsoncure.com and get your copy today.